going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hoosier Network College Football Show. This is our Week 4 recap, and Jhett and I were just talking about the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce debacle. Jhett does not like Taylor Swift, and the Chiefs play the Jets next week.
I'm telling y'all this right now, man. If this Sunday night I have to watch Taylor Swift celebrate on my team when I'm down 3 touchdowns, because I already know how it's going to be, that could be it for me. That could be it for me. As a fan, as a human being, that could be it. That
as
could
a
be
fan,
it.
yes. As a human being, no. I get that. Like,
I texted my cousin Rafe. He's a Bears fan. I said, "Man, you're a better fan. You're a better man than I am. Because if I was down 40 points right now and I had to watch Taylor Swift celebrate,
yeah,
I don't know how I'd handle that."
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there are some important people in my life that really do love Taylor Swift, and those 3 people are my girlfriend, my mom, and my sister. And I was in a text thread yesterday, and they said, "Oh my God, you guys see Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's box?" And they're like, "Yes, oh my goodness." Here, I'll read you the thread.
Shout out, by the way, to Mama Canfield, Sister Canfield, and Girlfriend Canfield. You guys are legends. We love you over here at the HN College Football Show. I actually forgot the name of the podcast for about 10 seconds.
My girlfriend Alex sent a video of someone that a roommate of hers, their parents were at the Chiefs game and were a couple of rows you can see it, or a couple of rows behind or in front of Taylor Swift at the game. It says, "I'm sure you guys have seen this, but Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce stuff, blah, blah, blah. They are so close to Taylor Swift in the box." My sister says, "OMG." My mom goes, "Awesome." And you want to know what I said? What I take away from this game? Justin Fields still sucks.
And that is the difference between real football fans and people that care about Taylor Swift being at the game.
And I saw another tweet that said NFL fans watching a bunch of Swifties become football fans, and it's Cam Newton looking at the Seahawks.
Yeah. I just want to get into this week of college football so we can talk about it, and I can never talk about this week ever again in college football history.
Okay, well...
Can we just start Notre Dame, Ohio State?
It was a great week.
So I can get it out.
Time out.
I just want to go home.
It was a really good week. A lot of great games. We should just kill the two games that we should talk about. That's the best game of the week and the game that was played on this campus. Ohio State 17, Notre Dame 14. This was indeed a game where I wanted a lot of points to be scored. And not many points were scored. And one of the touchdowns were scored while the touchdown scoring team's band was on the field. So we did not get any Buckeye battle cry. And Dom Shabua was rather quiet because Notre Dame Stadium was very loud. I quickly changed my allegiance in this game. I found myself rooting for Notre Dame. But what I wanted to happen... Excuse me, I'm always yawning on this show. Sorry. What I wanted to happen, Ohio State went in, and I'm not going to say that they manhandled Notre Dame because they didn't, because they won on a lucky play. They drove down the field on a lucky play and scored on a unfortunate error from the defense. Sam Hartman was non-existent in this game. Kyle McCord did not play the game that people think he did. He just made one good play. Trevion Henderson, I believe, is the player of the game for Ohio State with that big touchdown in the end of the first half. Audric Estime didn't play for a good chunk of the second half. And I just think that there are some holes with Notre Dame's offense. And this is where they need their receivers. Mitchell Evans was great, was Notre Dame's leading receiver with 775. Other than that, Notre Dame has no receivers.
Our receiving core, I think, it's
Jhett,
young.
Look at me.
It's young. What? Are you kidding me?
Mute my mic.
I'll talk while you fix. Look, our receiving core is very young. Jaden Greathouse, freshman. Rico Flores, freshman. the issue that I had, I'll get into my issues in a bit. The Ohio State secondary played this game very well. They did. I don't think it was as much on the receivers as it was. Ohio State just played a very good game defensively. Couldn't get the run game going. We literally scored 0 points in the first half. It was 3-0 going into halftime. Here is my issue. It was a low-scoring game last year. It was going to be a low-scoring game again this year. I figured that as much. The issue that I have with a college football team playing in arguably the biggest game of the season, and you put 10 guys on the field, and in the last 2 plays of the game, you put 10 guys on the field, one of those plays being out of a timeout.
That's rough.
That, to me, is unacceptable. And I'm not calling for anyone's job. I think Marcus Freeman is a very good college football head coach. I think he's a great recruiter. I think he's an amazing human being. I think that he is taking this program in the right direction. I hate this. I didn't hate it last year, but I hate it now of saying Brian Kelly would have lost this game by X amount of points, and Brian Kelly would have lost this game by 2-3 touchdowns. And I just know he would have. Marcus Freeman is getting us there. He's a second-year head coach still. He is getting us there. This team, we talked about it last week, I said it last week. I said that I hate the saying, when a team loses, saying, we are better than them, we played better than them. No, you didn't. You lost. But I really felt like Notre Dame lost this game more than Ohio State won it.
Of course. Absolutely.
And
Notre Dame came back and Notre Dame imposed their will on Ohio State in the second half, and they came back and they just lost.
This game, for me, as a fan, was kind of you had a chance. No one really expected Marcus Freeman, though, to go into Ohio Stadium and win. People expected him to win this game, and this was really an opportunity, in my opinion, as a fan, as a viewer, to say, okay, Notre Dame is ready to take that next step. Notre Dame is taking that next step. Notre Dame is a genuine, not even for this season or saying, oh, they're a national championship contender, but it was a point to say this is not the same old Notre Dame. And I walked away from this game initially thinking this is just the same old Notre Dame. We're always going to do this. We're never going to win a big game. To now, a few days later, I'm thinking, okay, well, this sucks really bad. This is the hardest loss as a fan I've ever watched in my life. This takes the cake. I don't really think that there is any other. I can't think of one. This sucks. This sucks. So I can't imagine how the players are feeling. I can't imagine how the coaches are feeling. But it's a quick turnaround, and you're in the hardest part of your schedule. Look, this team has the hardest schedule in the country. I don't care. You can't put another schedule in front of me that's harder than Notre Dame's. There's just not one.
I'll say this. I totally forgot that the score was not. There was no touchdown in the first half. The Trevion Henderson touchdown was in the beginning of the third quarter, and I feel like that could have been the icing on the cake for Notre Dame. But they stayed resilient and they came back.
Yeah,
they came back. They scored 2 touchdowns. It was truly something, this game.
I thought that we had the game won after.
I agree.
After we forced the turnover with like 4 minutes left in the game, I thought, man, like our run game was playing very well there in the second half. I thought this game, we can win this game. And I started initially thinking, storming the field and all that, and run the ball on first down. And we tried passing it on second down. And to me, that's where the game was lost. And here's why. You can look at the DJ Brown should have been interception on the final drive of the game. Should have caught it. But you can go back and you can look at this and say this, okay. Notre Dame runs the ball, makes Ohio State use their last timeout. Now Ohio State has no timeouts on their final drive of the game. 15 seconds left in the game, and they had a penalty called on them that would have been a 10-second runoff. So now they have one play from about the 40-yard line with 5 seconds left in the game. And instead they get to run 2 to 3 plays and they have a timeout. And it's just little things like that of coaching, and that's why you go out and hire a true offensive coordinator instead. And I'm not out on Jared Parker yet. I probably will be. I just know I will be. But this loss sucks, man.
I just think that in order to win this game, you got to bring in Hartman more. Hartman was just...
Yeah, they didn't use him enough.
He was not used enough, and I think that Sam Hartman is the best player on all of those teams. Like, combined, he's the best player.
Yeah, I could agree.
I'm sorry, Marvin Harrison. I'm sorry, JT Tuimoloau, but Sam Hartman is the best player on both of these teams. And it sucks because they didn't use him. They didn't use him as half as much as they should have. They should have experimented a little bit more with the receiving in the first half. Mitchell Evans did his job. Other than that, I mean, Rico Flores got a touchdown, but
it's just the Ohio State secondary truly was playing. They played so well in this game. Everything was covered up. OSU, yeah. Their defense played very well in this game. They have one of the best defenses in the country for a reason. But I think that Ben Morrison proved this game that he's the best cornerback in the country. He shut Marvin Harrison down. You're making that look. Who on Michigan is holding Marvin Harrison to
Will
this?
Johnson, and he did it last year. He did it last year. And this isn't about Michigan. I don't want to talk about Michigan right now. I don't want to talk about Michigan right now. Sure, Ben Moore. Okay, it's a lot. We got a while. We got a while because a lot of these good corners have. This is a dumb argument. Okay, Ben Morrison is good. He's good. He did his job against Marvin. But okay,
he's the best. He's a first-round draft pick next year.
Sure, whatever. Okay, now I want to talk about what happened after this game. And boy, some stuff went down after this game. And we were watching this live, and you were upset, and I was stunned. On Friday, there is a human in the sports universe. His name is... Let me Google just to make sure I have his name right. His name is Patrick Justin McAfee. He has a show that's... You may have heard of it. It's called The Pat McAfee Show. And... he put on a college football legend, and that is Lou Holtz. And one of his... Listen, I'm not the biggest Pat McAfee guy, so I don't know who the guy is. I don't know who is the guy that imitates Lou Holtz.
I can't think of his name.
He's really good impression. They had Lou Holtz. They had Lou Holtz on the show to talk about this game. I'm gonna play the Lou Holtz comments. This is about Ohio State, and this is just about the game in general.
To be back on campus at Notre Dame?
Well, I say this, if you've been part of Notre Dame, no explanation's necessary. If you haven't, no explanation will suffice. You have to be part of Notre Dame to understand this is just a special place.
It is special.
Okay, so let's be honest. A little spoiler here. Listen. You think Lou Holtz is going to go on Pat McAfee in the place where he made himself famous and against all of his people and say, no, Notre Dame's going to lose this game. They're going to lose this game. They're going to lose. Ryan Day this, Ryan Day that. They're better than Notre Dame. No. So watching the next clip, the next video I'm going to show, Raw really, really did a disservice for Ryan Day. Because I thought Ryan Day was being very charismatic. I thought he was sticking up for his team. But just listen to what Lou Holtz says here. Turn my mic up a little bit more.
You can hear
Marcus Freeman. He loves Notre Dame.
Talking about Marcus Freeman, and I absolutely agree. Marcus Freeman went to Ohio State. Here we go.
Understands what Notre Dame's all about, and that is so important for the head coach to believe in his school. Number two, Notre Dame is a better football team than Ohio State.
Going into the game, I also thought that. But, continuing on.
Not hearing that, please go.
And let me tell you why. We have the best offensive line in the country. Sam Hartman won't even get his jersey dirty all year. He has time to throw the football. The offensive line, we have great running backs. Esteem is averaging about 10 yards.
It's just every time I rewatch this and listen to...
him say esteem?
Every time I watch this and hear him talk about Sam Hartman, it made me disappointed. It just the disappointment of how Sam Hartman was not even a factor in this game really, really robbed us of a good performance. And it might not even be his fault.
To carry, we have great receivers. So offensively, we're set. Defensively, our defensive line's better. And you look at Coach Day.
That I don't agree with. But here is where Ryan Day really caught that fuse. Here's where it really broke. Here's where Lou Holtz broke Ryan Day.
And I coached at Ohio State under Woody Hayes. We won the national championship when I was there.
That's right.
So I'm proud of that. However, he has lost to Alabama, Georgia.
Right.
Okay, so he essentially goes on and says that Notre Dame is tougher than Ohio State. Ohio State is not tough. They have lost to these teams because they have gotten out-toughed, and every game Ryan Day has lost is they lost because they were out-toughed. I'm going to be honest. I absolutely agree with Lou Holtz. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with Lou Holtz here. And then he goes on to say that Notre Dame is going to need to pack a lunch because it's going to be a long day's work. And I totally agreed with Lou Holtz, and I absolutely thought that's what was going to happen. I thought that Notre Dame was going to out-muscle and they were going to out-physical Ohio State. And that is not what happened. So Ryan Day, after this game, as he should. So let's go back to before I really, really dove into what Lou Holtz said. This is after the game. My raw reaction to this from Ryan Day is he's being very charismatic. He's very vocal about his team. His team's been disrespected this amount of times because they lost 2 games last year, had a really good quarterback, didn't win a big game. Out physical by Michigan, close loss against Georgia. He's had a couple big losses by a couple, I mean a very small handful of losses. And so this has probably been a big outpour of emotions that Ryan Day has had since New Year's Eve. Since the clock hit 2023, that field goal went left from Noah Ruggles. This has all been worked up from Ryan Day. So here is the Ryan Day interview. You've seen it all, but I just want to take it one more time.
That we're seeing what we saw out of Ohio State's offense the last couple
I wonder what's going through Melissa Stark's head here. Like, oh boy.
of seasons with Justin Fields and with C.J. Stroud. But Kyle McCord goes 21 of 39 with 200 from his head coach, who's standing by
The
with
wrong
Captain
clip.
This is it.
Yes.
Watch this.
Coach, you knew this one wasn't going to be easy, but it came down to the wire. And what can you say about the performance from your quarterback, Kyle McCord, to finish that drive?
Toughness, that's it. Physicality, across the board, finish it off, having guts. You know, like I like to know where Lou Holtz is right now.
Wow.
Get a life.
Oh, come on. No, live, I said, wow. He is pissed. He is mad, and he had the right to be mad because they won this game. But let's keep going here.
About our team, what he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
Okay. The Michigan fan in me wants to say Ryan Day is a horrible coach. I mean, he was born on third base, obviously. But he's being a good guy here, sticking up for his players after they were trashed on national TV on Pat McAfee. However, after going on Twitter and seeing how corny this was, going after 86-year-old Lou Holtz, basically, I mean, what are y'all seeing to get from Lou Holtz? The most Notre Dame guy on this earth. And then go out and say that. And I think after his press conference in the outside the locker room shows a little bit more of the insecurity. And everyone was just clowning on Ryan Day after the fact. Everyone went and rewatched Lou Holtz. And so I want to get your take on this, Jhett. What do you think about this interview?
So I've been very quiet throughout this whole time of you playing it because I wanted to be playfully and I want to just talk about it. I was so mad. I was so mad, man.
We were watching the game together. He was mad.
I've never
He did not talk. I was expecting an absolute rage storm, but no, it was nothing. It was just me, J-Mo, Eli, and Jhett, and we were just stunned. We were stunned, no talking. And I told Jhett, he started to talk, and I said, listen, we're in an apartment complex. Try your hardest not to scream. He didn't scream. He kept it together.
Until Ryan Day started spewing that nonsense.
Yeah.
Look, man, there's so many things wrong with this. First of all, Lou Holtz is 86 years old, right? What? Here's the thing. Here's the big picture in all of this. You want to be known as a school and a football team that competes, that can beat everyone, that they should be favored in every game. They shouldn't be called soft. They should be called tough. So then act like you're tough, dude. Instead of going on a spiel and trying to prove how tough you are in a post game press conference.
Yeah, because sometimes
proved it.
Proving how tough you are kind of makes you show how untough
you are. He literally
sounds stupid.
He proved what everyone says about Ohio State and their fans and their players and all this.
I wouldn't say their fans.
Their fans, I don't think, are that bad. I think their fans are.
Hey, someone agrees with me.
I think their fans are a little overhated, just in my few interactions with them. But
never expect the Michigan fans sticking up for OSU fans, but here I am.
But here's my issue. You just proved on national television and then doubled up on it in a post-game interview that you're really soft. Like, I would take Lou Holtz at 86 years old over Ryan Day now. I mean, Ryan Day is not that great of a head coach. He kind of, I'm not going to say lucked into a win. I will not say that. We got beat. Notre Dame got beat. I didn't get beat. Notre Dame got beat. I felt like I got beat, but Notre Dame got beat. So I'm not going to say this was a lucky win for him. I'm not going to say that Notre Dame was the better team, but I am going to say this. That was soft from Ryan Day, and it was embarrassing and great for sticking up for your players. There's a time and a place. This was not, in my opinion, the time nor the place.
Actually, I disagree with that.
Hold on. I hate the phrase, act like you've been there, but Ryan Day looked like he had never been on the winning end of a big game.
Okay, I agree with that. The part you said before, that was the time and the place. That was the time and the place, but act like you've been there. I like that. There's just a lot of variables and a lot of stuff going on.
I mean, that's his national championship because he's going to get killed by Michigan this year. So,
thanks.
And look, man.
Thanks for saying that so I don't have to.
Look.
Because we're going to get him for you. We're going to get him for you. I hate saying we. It's going to happen.
I hate Michigan with every fiber of my being, but for about 20 minutes, and maybe it even still is there, for about 20 minutes, I was ready to put on the maize and blue and cheer for Michigan for 1 week this season.
Should we insert the video here of me putting my hat up to
we shouldn't, because oh my gosh. If you want to see a man at his lowest, you go look at that film from that night that we had. We've been talking about this game for 20 minutes. I'm ready to move on and never talk about this game again.
Okay, as more and more we talk about this game, I just feel like what could have been with Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
But quick turnaround for Notre Dame.
Ugh.
Duke, they go to Durham.
Watch out for Duke.
Watch out for Duke and Notre Dame coming up in a couple rounds. Mr. Garrett says, Mr. Elko, don't break my heart. Mr. Garrett,
My heart, man. Listen, man. If this is a time as a Notre Dame player, Notre Dame team, Notre Dame coaching staff, Notre Dame everything, you got a chance right now to hone it back in. Get it together. Maybe you win out. Maybe you win 10 games this year, but you got a chance to hone it in right now, or let this loss against Ohio State define you and continue to just let it snowball and lose against Duke and lose at Clemson or lose against USC and you win 8 games again this year, and that's not great. So you got a very good chance to go in this weekend, hone it back in, win by a couple touchdowns, and move forward. And we have 4 primetime games in a row, counting this past weekend. It's ridiculous.
Mr. Garrett, Mr. Elko, don't break my heart. And Mr. Elko says, sorry, we're the Dukies. All right. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Another game that went down on this beautiful campus.
I'm going to be honest about this game, and a lot of listeners are going to hate me for this.
Me, possibly one of them.
Didn't care about this game. Didn't care because I was so distraught over Notre Dame losing that I had nothing left in me to even care about this game. I had nothing left. I had nothing left to give. This team stinks, man. And I understand that I go to the school, I see these players around campus every day. This team stinks. This team is not good. This team is poorly coached. This team is poorly disciplined. This team is poorly everything. They're poorly advertised. They're poorly in the locker room. We just barely. That was stupid.
Okay, listen.
That was dumb.
Right.
I don't know. That was dumb.
Okay,
that
you're
was
done.
Dumb.
You're done.
We embarrass ourselves as a program. Indiana, listen, man, Indiana football stinks, but there's a lot of teams in the country that stink. We embarrass ourselves.
Listen, I'm not going to comment on the actual game because we did not watch enough of this game to really know what happened. We just saw the score. We saw the missed field goal from Akron, and we saw Jalen Lucas being wide open. And what was that, second overtime? This game really went to 4 overtimes. I think Akron is one of the better teams in the MAC. I think this Irons guy, he's really good.
No, he's not.
I think he's really good.
He's terrible.
Okay. I don't really want to talk about the play on the field because everyone knows what to say, and I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is the post-game locker room fight song situation. If you did not know this before this game started, or before the video came out, Indiana does the 3-verse Indiana thing every game. They do slow, they do the snap, and then they do the loud and proud, whatever you want to call it. Listen, there's no reason to criticize Tom Allen for trying to hype up his team, and you're going to hate me for saying this, but that's just who he is. And I feel like that video should not have been posted, but I'm not going to get on Tom Allen for trying to make his players... To engage his players after a very disappointing game.
My problem was you just barely beat one of the worst teams in college football. Just barely beat them, and that's the video that you post. That's what we're doing. That's my problem. Second of all, about Tom Allen. I literally watched that video, and I'm thinking to myself, this kid looks like he's running a summer camp. This kid looks like he's running a camp for a bunch of 10-year-olds right now. None of the players wanted to do this. The players just wanted to go home. They wanted to get out of there, forget about this game, go home. And honestly, I felt the same way. I would have felt the same way if I was in that locker room. That was silly. That was just straight up silly to do and to post the video, and maybe I have a bigger problem with it than anyone else. What's going on? Shout out Riley. Maybe I have a bigger problem with it than anyone else. But this team continues to just embarrass itself week in and week out. There is no reason, other than money, that Tom Allen should still be a head coach here. He is terrible. He is not a good head coach. I don't care. He's a cheerleader. He's a loser. Wow. You said he is who he is. He, not as a human being, as a coach, he is a loser. He's a great person. I take nothing away from Tom Allen as a human being. I absolutely never would. I think he's a great human being. I don't care how you are as a human being, though. We're here to coach football. We're here to play football. We're here to win games. And he does not win games. And I cannot... I've been outspoken about it the whole time. I think he's a terrible head coach. I think Walt Bell's a terrible coordinator. The fact that we brought him in here, it's ridiculous. This program, they treat it like a joke. They treat this football program like a joke. They don't take it serious. And so your fans are not going to care. People get so mad that IU fans don't stay for the games. If you're telling me that I have to go out and be in the hot sun, it's a hot day out, I got to be in the hot sun all day wearing all black, tailgating, going into the game, and I have to stay for, this game was probably 4 hours?
Yeah.
Absolutely not a chance. Not a chance. There's a 0% chance of that happening. There was probably 1,000 fans there at the end of the game, and for good reason. I don't blame them for leaving. I don't. I could go on and on about this. I got to stop now because this will be an hour-long episode of me complaining about how IU doesn't advertise their football team. They don't care about their football team, and they're going to continue to win 4 games every year. They might win 3 games this year. That's the ceiling right now.
What sucks is that there's talent on this roster. There is so much talent, and the play calling really, really, really just gets on my nerves. With that being said, I am so ready for this team to go into Maryland. I'm ready to watch them again.
Glad you are.
I'm ready to watch them again. I still have hope for this team. I really do. And yes, with the cringe. Okay, first of all, I do want to say this. Since becoming a media student, do not get on the media interns for posting that video. They had to do that. They had to do that. Do not get on the media interns.
I didn't put it on the media interns. You just put it on the media interns.
I didn't. I just said don't put it on them. Don't put it on the social media account. Don't put it on the admin. Just because, let's be honest, whenever my teams lose whenever my professional teams lose a game, they always say admin, or the Detroit Tigers are not going to the playoffs. And the media administration still has to post this every single day because the season's still going on. That's when you can get on admin and complain. Even though they're not going to do anything about it, you can still complain and say, admin, why are you doing this? Admin, how are you still alive? Admin this, admin that. Don't get on the kids that are posting this video. It's okay. It's all right.
It's the time, and I don't know. I think that whoever posted the video, whether it was one of my fellow classmates or whether it was someone that's higher up, time and place. You got to know you can't be so oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this game anymore. With that being said, Indiana goes to Maryland, 3:30 BTN next week, and I'm excited to watch that game. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to watch that game, because I want to watch it. This team still got hope, man. Maryland looks beatable. They look beatable. That Maryland defense looks iffy.
In 1 week's time, we're going to be talking about a 4-touchdown loss.
Fine. That's totally fine.
I'm just telling you.
Okay. If there was a game that was played on Saturday that really got my gears going, what game do you think it would be?
Penn State, Iowa.
Oh my goodness, Iowa! What the heck?
Thanks for
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
The amount of times that I heard "thanks for nothing, Iowa," and I laughed every time. I laughed every time he said it.
Brian Ferentz.
It's over.
It's over. It is over. You cannot score points. It boggles my mind how good this defense is and how well they kept them in this game for a half. And Brian Ferentz and Cade McNamara and the special teams and Eric All, that one fumble, lost them this game. And I just cannot sit here and defend Iowa and defend their coach, their head coach, anymore. And I just can't do it. Fire your son. You have to do it. Just do it.
This team stinks, man. But
they're still going to win the West. Let's be real. They're still going to win the West.
That West is stupid. Look, this team is bad, man. And I didn't really realize it till, I think it was Thursday or Friday, I was watching back the Iowa-Western Michigan game because I was kind of intrigued. I knew we would be watching this Penn State game at Canny's place, so I wanted to be, a little in the loop of what's going on. And I watched that game, and in the first half, I thought Iowa's going to lose by 1 million. And they did. I might have said this game was going to be close on the pod, but after I watched Iowa properly on Thursday night, I thought this game is going to be brutal. Cade McNamara stinks. This isn't good. Canny's not happy. Canny, what's going on, my friend?
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
No.
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh, no.
I knew it was going to happen.
Oh, no.
Michigan is playing a night game against Minnesota, and a game I probably won't be able to watch. Continue.
I mean, come on. It's Minnesota. Anyways, Penn State, I don't know. Again, this game was going on the same time as Notre Dame, so I was halfway paying attention to it, but just looking at the box score and doing all of that, it's like, kind of expected it, kind of am not surprised by it at all. But that's all I really got on this. Iowa stinks.
Iowa's horrible. And I'm telling you right now, that defense looks pretty competent I look different without my glasses after having them on for a while.
Such as people do. Such as most people do. Yeah.
Okay, listen. Iowa's defense is pretty good. And Penn State looked beatable through the first half. Drew Aller can crack. He can crack. I'm telling you right now, he can crack.
He can. It's been proven the last couple weeks.
You get a competent defense. You could put a competent defense in front of Drew Aller, he will crack. And that's why Ohio State must beat Penn State.
I think Drew Aller competed though.
Yes. Oh,
he
played
stayed
great.
in it, and he played a good football game.
He played great. He didn't throw a pick. He was 166 for 4 touchdowns. He played great
Against one of the best defenses in college football, arguably.
Sure.
So I think that if you're a Michigan, you're an Ohio State, you're a team in this conference, you got to look at this and say, "Yikes, we got to get to this guy. We got to put some pressure on this kid, make him make the plays." And so, I'm intrigued, man. I'm intrigued by this Penn State team a lot. Big Game Boomer. Shout out Big Game Boomer. He's got Penn State at 1 in the country. So shout out to him. But this Penn State team is good. This Penn State team's good. I know there's an obvious, this is an obvious answer, but I want to hear how realistic is it that Penn State is playing in the college football playoffs this year?
Oh, it's entirely likely. It's entirely likely. I feel like if Penn State beats Ohio State and they beat Michigan, they're going to the championship.
But those are 2 big ifs.
You've heard what I said. I think they're going to beat Michigan. I really do.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Until I'm proven otherwise, I think they will beat Michigan. And if Michigan's defense has to be good, and so far this year they have been great against East Carolina, Bowling Green, and Rutgers, and whoever they played.
Sure.
Whatever. UNLV. They got to adjust. Michigan's got to adjust. Penn State looks really good. They look really, really good. I think they won't win a game in the playoff because I think Florida State will crush them. I think Georgia will crush them. I think Texas would crush them. But in the Big Ten, just get to the playoff.
Penn State, Texas could be a game.
That would be awesome.
That would be a game.
All right. Let's move on here. Should we move away from the Big Ten, or should we just talk about Michigan real quick?
You can say your thing about Michigan.
Let's talk about Michigan. Michigan 31, Rutgers 7. This was indeed a first quarter of gameplay. My God.
You should have seen, hold on. You should have seen this guy when Rutgers went up 7-0. Oh my God. I was in between. I was sitting on the couch. You have Canny to my left, J-Mo to my right. J-Mo's completely composed, doesn't care. He's not worried at all. Canny's losing it.
By losing it, I didn't say anything. I just looked and I said, no, I don't remember. Stinks. No. Yes. I was saying composed in the way of me being very, I wasn't raising my voice. I was just saying, this team stinks. This team stinks. This team stinks. But you know what? This defense stayed resilient. They gave up 1 broken big play, and they gave up 7 points the entire game. I'm proud of this defense. This defense has been awesome. With that being said, this offense, there's clearly something wrong with this offense, and that's Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards has got to be hurt. And I saw a graphic saying that he started slow last year, which I do remember a lot of that, but he was also hurt last year.
I wasn't impressed with him, just watching here.
Blake did his job, 97 for 2 tutties on 21 carries. Roman Wilson looks great. Cornelius Johnson looks great. Colston Loveland had an amazing game. I've
been extremely impressed with Roman Wilson. I thought last year, watching him in the college football playoff, it was kind of he had a very good game against TCU, I thought. And he's going to be a big part of this team this season, and I thought that he's looked really good this year. I think he needs more targets, though. He's not getting a ton of targets, and maybe there's something going on, or not something going on there, but maybe there's a reason for that I'm just not seeing. But I thought Roman Wilson has looked very, very good this year. 0 drops this season as well, by the way. I was just reading.
For a good 2 quarters, Gavin Wimsatt looked really good. He looked good.
Shout out Owensboro.
Mike Sainristil still is the best player on this team. He looks amazing. He looks really good. That pick 6, that was a bit of a mulligan of a pick 6, but it was a pick 6 nonetheless. Looked really good. It was a pick 6 because Rutgers thought the entire Rutgers team thought he was down. Takes it to the house. Great job by him. A good win against an undefeated team, but now a game I've been circling. 2 games that I've been circling, man. And that's, 3 games I've been circling. You go to Nebraska. You got a non-night game against Nebraska. You have got to win this game.
They're going to win.
You have to win.
Here's my question, and this kind of goes back to the whole Penn State thing, playing Penn State. How are you going to beat Penn State? How are you going to beat these teams? In this game against Rutgers, 0 sacks. Got to get to the quarterback more, I think.
Yeah, no sacks.
0 sacks in this game. Obviously, I don't know pressures and all that off the top of my head here, but I'm just curious, Canny, how is this defense Are you concerned with them not getting to the quarterback? Or
no.
Just, if for moving forward against, you're going to play more competent teams as far as that defense goes.
No.
I think that they will destroy Nebraska, and we'll talk about that Wednesday. But do you look at this and moving forward think, we got to get to the quarterback more?
No, because the linebackers in the secondary have been really good. They've been passable. They've given up less than 7 points all year. Michigan's averaging 5.7 points on defense.
But that changes. You have to get to the quarterback.
Okay, I do agree with that, but this offensive line of Nebraska will be a good test for them.
Okay.
And I'm ready to watch this game, and I'm ready to have a composed viewing of this game and not freak out every first down. Looks like Jeff Sims isn't playing. Heinrich Hallberg, whatever his name is, Harlberg, whatever, is the quarterback for Nebraska. Why am I talking like I'm previewing this game? We'll do that on Wednesday. Michigan beats Rutgers 31-7. All right, next game. Florida State and Clemson. Oh, boy. This was the game that I had circled. This could be the game of the year, and it did not disappoint. And I'm telling you right now, Florida State understood the assignment. They were down late. They get that gigantic tackle, smack to the face, fumble recovery, scoop and score touchdown. Dude, we were going nuts. We were going nuts. That was awesome. A good game. That was really awesome. I remember I almost passed out. I was screaming so loud. That was great job. That was a great job by Florida State to come back and win this game.
We were watching this game, and it got to 17-7. Clemson was up, and I can't remember if I told you or Kenny or you or J-Mo, or I just kind of set it out in the open. I said, this game's going to have a crazy ending, and Florida State's going to win. Mm-hmm. And you could just tell it was going to be one of those games. I feel like games at Clemson, they always tend to be like that. They always kind of start out with one team kind of taking a bit of a lead, and then it starts getting close, and there's always crazy endings, I feel like, when I'm watching Clemson. And Keon Coleman is the real deal.
Keon.
Jordan Travis is solid. This team, this Florida State team, man,
is the best team in the country.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, but I think that they've gotten through. What, dude? They've gotten through their hardest part of the schedule. So they play Duke. They play against Duke. That's at home. They play Miami at home. At Florida, this team might go undefeated.
Yep. And that's
where's the loss? Where's the loss?
There's not one. And I'm telling you right now, we said this before the season started. Florida State beats Clemson. They're going to the playoff. They're winning the ACC. That's it. It's over.
I remember at the beginning of the year, we looked at this Florida State team specifically, and we said their two hardest games are within 20 days of each other, and it's LSU and it's Clemson. And they won both of those games.
Yep. So they're now a shoe-in for the playoff. I mean, Big Johnny played a great game. He was their leading receiver with 594. We are just drowning in our money from this Florida State stock that we've been preaching. We bought it low, and we're not selling it because we're riding it, and we're riding and dying with this Florida State team.
I feel like last year at the end of the year when everyone was doing their way too early top 25s, they had Florida State at like this 4 slot, the number 4 position in the country, and then the season rolls around. I don't understand how they drop. But people just forgot about the team, and now they're number 10 in the country. Now they're number 10, 11, 12 in the country. This team's a good team. This team, by the end of the year, could be the number 1 team in the country just because I don't know if they're going to play their way there, or maybe other teams will lose out and drop. But this Florida State team, man, I think that if I had to pick one team right now that I'm 100% confident would be
in the playoff,
it would be Florida State or Georgia.
100%. It's Florida State. 100%. Okay. Shout out Keon Coleman for a good game. I can finally root for him now because he is one heck of a player. He is something else. Let's go rapid fire here real quick until we get to Colorado, Oregon. California 32, Washington 59. That I was telling J-Mo about this game at halftime. Cal shouldn't even come out for the second half.
Here's
ridiculous performance from Mike Penix.
I have a question. Are we seeing a little something here like 2019 LSU with this Washington team? A little bit?
I wouldn't go that far.
Are people just not noticing it?
Oh,
I don't think Washington is being talked about enough.
I agree.
If this was Alabama, if this was an SEC school, everyone would be talking about them every single day, everywhere.
That's sadly true. I would rank Washington over. I think I would put Washington at 2 right now. Florida State 1, Washington 2.
They're 1 or 2, in my opinion.
I think I would put them at 2. They're better than Michigan. They're more consistent than Georgia. They would beat Ohio State. They would beat Notre Dame.
Texas is kind of where...
They would beat Texas.
I don't know. That would be a good game. Texas has a good defense, I think. I think that Washington, or the reason I wouldn't say Washington at 1 is because I've continually said the number 1 spot is Georgia's until they lose. And they haven't lost, and they're not showing any signs of, well, I don't know. They kind of been, I don't know. But Georgia's number 1 until they're not.
I have Florida State at 1 because Florida State's not giving up 32 garbage points to Cal. Are they scoring 59 against Cal? Maybe not. Which means
they were already up 100, though.
Exactly, which means they're not giving away garbage points. Okay, let's keep going here. UCLA 7, Utah 14. Utah really is getting a bunch of free passes, man. They need Cam Rising because it's about to kick up a notch. I think UCLA, whoever they play next, okay, Oregon State, they get at Oregon State, 9 o'clock on Saturday. That could be a trap game for them. They need Cam back.
They need him back.
They need him back.
I know the people
or else they'll lose to Florida State, they'll lose to USC, they'll lose to Oregon, they'll lose to Washington. They need Cam Rising back, or it is going to get rough for Utah. UCLA is not ready to compete right now.
People continually judge Andy Ludwig and that offense, and I just don't think it's proper to judge Ludwig and what he's done for that offense and what he's done for that team until Cam Rising's back.
I absolutely agree. All right, next game, Arkansas 31, LSU 34. Arkansas came in as a 17-point underdog. They cover by a good hefty margin.
KJ
LSU
Jefferson's so good.
KJ looked pretty good. Jaden Daniels 320 for 4 touchdowns and an interception. Brian Thomas had a pretty good game. 133, 5 receptions and 2 touchdowns. Looked pretty good. Washington State 38, Oregon State 35.
Great game.
We were right. Cam Ward. Just a tough one for
Can you say that
Oregon
again?
We were right about Cam Ward.
I love it. I love hearing that.
Being right. Cam
God,
Ward,
I love hearing that.
4 touchdowns. Thing about this for Oregon State, they're just the better team. Washington State's the better team. They go in, you just go into Pullman and you lose. It's okay.
I'm so
I think
happy.
I'm pretty sure DJ will be back next year. So, Washington State wins the Tupac. Oklahoma 20, Cincinnati 6. Cincinnati stinks. Oklahoma is really overrated. They're going to get humbled by Texas in a couple weeks. North Carolina 41, Pitt 24. I had North Carolina minus 7.5. It was close for a little bit, but Phil Dracovic. Let's play the game we all love. Let's take a look at Phil Dracovic's stat line. 11 for 15, 105, no touchdowns, no picks. Bone average.
He stinks, man.
He's not good. Tennessee takes care of UTSA. Florida 22, Charlotte 7. I was thinking about Charlotte plus 22.5. Should have went with it. I went 9-3 on my picks, not bets.
I had a kid.
I went 0-9 yesterday in the NFL though.
What? Honestly though, going 0-9 is almost as impressive as going 9-0. So,
all right, here's a game you want to talk about. That's Oregon and Colorado. Oregon boat races, the Buffs. Colorado is the inferior opponent. They have inferior players. They have an inferior coach.
What I noticed was, and this is kind of what we have said, is the difference from FCS to FBS is up front.
It's this.
What do you mean?
This atmosphere, this coaching staff, these players, the experience of these players. Bo Nix, who played amazing. Colorado isn't ready to compete with Oregon right now, and that's okay.
And here's why I don't
we thought what was going to happen.
Here's why I don't think they are, and I think it's up front. I think it's offensive linemen. I think it's defensive linemen. That's your difference from FCS to FBS is the height, weight, athleticism, skill level of the guys that play on the offensive line and on the defensive line. That was where they were completely outmatched. They gave up 240 yards rushing in this game. Colorado did. You know, that to me is saying, okay, we can't compete with them up front. And I agree with Deion Sanders. This is the worst that Colorado is going to be. They're going to get better every year. And I love Colorado doing well. I am not one yet. I am not one to sit here and pray that Colorado is going to lose because I hate how much the media is talking about them, this, that. That's not me. I love this Colorado team. I like Oregon more. I wanted Oregon to win this game just because I love this team. I love Bo Nix. Troy Franklin has really become one of my favorite players in the country. I think he's been playing really well. This defense is solid. I just think that this Colorado team, they are good, but they're not as good as we kind of thought they were. And they're going in the right direction. They're going to continue to get better. Colorado was never going to a national championship this year. But a bowl game, to me, a bowl game is a win for this Colorado team. If you win 7-8 games, that is that's insane for Deion Sanders if he can get to 8 wins this season.
That's really all I got to talk about this game. I mean, Deion got humbled, and that's all right. We all knew it was coming. I didn't think it was going to be this much of a humbling because I had Colorado plus 21.
Yikes.
But yeah, big yikes. My other loss is the over in this game. Alabama 21, Ole Miss 10.
That was 24-10.
What did I say?
21-10.
Alabama 24, Ole Miss 10. Before I talk about how impressed I am with Jalen Milroe, I am appalled by Ole Miss. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I don't remember what I said on Wednesday, but I quickly remembered what I was thinking about in the preseason, and that Ole Miss is overrated, and they suck. They suck.
They don't suck.
Lane will never win the big game. Never. Kirby Smart, turn around and won the biggest of games. Jim Harbaugh, turn around and won the big game. These coaches have won big games. Coaches that have not expected to win big games. Dan Lanning has won big games. Kyle Whittingham, in his 18 years of coaching, has won big games. All these coaches that we're talking about have won big games. Lane Kiffin has never won a big game as a head coach. And it is ridiculous that we continue to rank Ole Miss in the top 25, or not, in the top 15 for showing us nothing. Jackson Dart stinks. He stinks. Quinshon Judkins has been nowhere to be found this year. With that being said, Alabama had a great bounce-back game. Jalen Milroe looks very good. I think he's been a lot better. Chase McClellan looked unstoppable this game. And I think Alabama is back on the right track. I don't think they're going to win. I still don't think they're going to win the West, but they're back on the right track if they, they can still win the West because they have LSU at home. But I think they're back on the right track.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely a good win for Alabama. I'm still not sold on Jalen Milroe. I think he threw some unreal balls in this game.
Unreal.
He made some very good plays in this game, but I'm still not sold on him yet. Jace McClellan's what won this game. Jace McClellan looked unreal in this ball game. He looked very good.
They didn't even need Roydell Williams. I'll just say this about Jalen Milroe. You look at him. He's 6'2", 220. Not the size of a Will Levis or a Joe Milton or a Malik Willis. He throws that rock far and hard. Man, he looks really good. He looks really good throwing that rock. And I'm not sure what it was last week why he didn't play. I'm sure it was just a rest thing and just to kind of see where Buckner and Ty Simpson were at. But Jalen Milroe is the best this team has. I said a couple weeks ago, Jalen Milroe is the best this team has, and they're going to have to work with it. They're going to have to make lemonade out of those lemons. And granted, Ole Miss sucks, but they did it today. Not today, Saturday.
Lane Kiffin, man, just addicted to winning 8 games a year. He just can't get off of it.
And I want Ole Miss to be good. This sport is better when the University of Mississippi is good, when the Grove is packed, when Vaught Hemingway is loud, and those uniforms, those sea blue uniforms are popping, but they're never going to get back to where they were. And frankly, they've never been anywhere. They've claimed 3 national championships and have only had one winning season with 10 wins.
What about when Quinn Ewers comes back to Texas and Arch Manning transfers to Ole Miss and saves the program?
I think he's going to go to Alabama.
That would suck.
That would be cool if he went to Alabama.
Suck.
But hey, if Arch goes to the SIP, that would be cool. That'd be cool. They're still going to win 8 games.
Come to the SIP.
All right. Any other games?
There's just so many games to cover. So if we miss a game that you wanted to hear us talk about, we apologize. There's just every good game in the history of college football was played this week.
Let's just go conference by conference. If I see anything, ACC. J-Mo and I watched the NC State-Virginia game. That was indeed a game. The Brennan Armstrong Bowl. Syracuse looks pretty good against an Army team that has kind of switched some gears. They're kind of throwing it a little bit more. Syracuse looks good. They're 4-0. Louisville dismantles Boston College. And, that's kind of it for... Georgia Tech goes into Wake Forest and wins. They spoil their undefeated bid. Haynes King with 222, 2 touchdowns and an interception. The Big 12, let's see here. Texas destroys Baylor, as we all knew that they would, 38-6. Did we talk about? Oh, we get to the Pac-12. TCU wins the Sonny Dykes Bowl, 34-17. Kansas beats BYU. Kansas 4-0. They're getting into a good thick of their schedule here. They play Texas this week. That's at 3:30 on ABC. I was saying before we started the show, this week could arguably be better than last week.
I know you said that, and the slate looks pretty solid, but I don't know about better than this past week. This past week had a lot of good games on the schedule.
Kansas State beats UCF 44-31. Let's go to the Big Ten. Big Ten whip around here. Oh, boy. Wisconsin 38, Purdue 17. This is really the game where Phil Longo really could experiment against a bad Purdue team. Purdue is 1-3, but they're still... I'd say they're still in contention for the West, man. They're only 0-1 in the Big Ten. A lot of football to be played in the West. Hudson Card, 202 with 2 picks, no touchdowns. Braylon Allen looked like his old self. Good win for Wisconsin. Michigan 31, Rutgers 7. Indiana 29, Akron 27. Ohio State 17, Notre Dame 14. Penn State 31, Iowa 0. Illinois escapes FAU. Luke Altmaier did not throw any interceptions this week. 303 and 1 touchdown. Maryland beats MSU 31-9. Michigan State's got to go to Kinnick this weekend. I think they go to Kinnick, right? It's at Kinnick?
No idea.
It is at Kinnick, 7:30 on NBC. Sorry, Sparty fans. I don't like feeling sorry for you, but sorry. Nebraska 28, Louisiana Tech 14. Nebraska looked passable. Heinrich Haarberg is the name of the guy that is the quarterback for Nebraska. That's indeed a name. It's not Jeff Sims. And Chubba Purdy had a couple game time. He is actually the brother of Brock Purdy. And boy, a game went down at Ryan Field, and it was a final in overtime. Northwestern 37, Minnesota 34. Oh boy. Ben Bryant had a game, though. 396 for 4 touchdowns. How about those Cats?
I remember we sat in here and we watched a replay of one of their games, and I looked at you and I said, is Ben Bryant? Is he good?
That was the UTEP game, I think it was.
Yeah. It was.
Minnesota will now play in 2 weeks. Do they have a bye before they play Michigan? No, they play Louisiana, and then they play Michigan at 7:30 on NBC. I'm not going to be able to watch that game.
Man, the things that you do, man. The things that you do.
Oh, man. For those that don't know, I have a formal to go to.
Shout out.
With the lovely Alex Dyer.
Shout out, girlfriend Canny. You got to love her.
Oh, boy. That'll be a tough one to not be able to watch. But, yeah. That's it for the Big Ten. Let's go down to the Pac-12. USC escapes a tough 3 quarters and clears Arizona State in a game we talked about, a game we didn't think needed to be talked about, but we talked about it, and Kenny Dillingham looks like he should be in college with us. He's a young man. He looks like a little kid. Arizona State didn't look good, obviously. They looked good for a little bit, but Drew Pine is only going to take you X amount of quarters against the 5th-ranked team in the country and the defending Heisman winner. J-Mo is already sick of Tribute to Troy, a song that I love, but it's a song that's played after every down on offense and defense for USC.
So stupid.
Oh, boy.
I hate that song.
I love it. I love it. What's better, Tribute to Troy or Boomer Sooner after every play?
They suck. Why play a song after every freaking play? I tell you what, it's Boomer Sooner. But why? If I have to sit here and I have to listen to that, I get so angry, especially if my team's losing. Like if Ohio State was playing a song after every game, after every play last night, I wouldn't have made it.
I was telling this to J-Mo, like if you're Drew Pine and you're hearing Tribute to Troy and you're down 14 late and you're at home, how is that? That sucks.
Tough look. That's a tough scene.
All right. We talked about all the Pac-12 games except for this one. Arizona 21, Stanford 20. Boy, Jaden DeLora was not the leading passer in this game.
He stinks, dude. I told you this.
Looks like he stinks.
I told you at the beginning of the year he stinks.
Stanford is not good. They are not good. And then we go to the SEC, Week 4.
Missouri back in the top 25. Gotta love it.
Georgia escapes a barn burner for a couple quarters against the Fightin' Dilfers, the University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers. UTSA 14, Tennessee 45. Texas A&M beats Auburn in a pretty weird game. Max Johnson played a good chunk of this game because Connor Wegman was hurt for a little bit. Kentucky 45, Vanderbilt 28 in a big-time win. I said it. It's a big-time win for Stoops and the Cats. Devin Leary, 205, a touchdown, 2 picks. Ray Davis returns to Nashville on 17 carries with 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. Barryon Brown looked pretty good. Kentucky's got a good schedule coming up here. They have Florida this Saturday at noon on ESPN. That's going to be a really good game. I like Kentucky. Spoiler alert for Wednesday, I like Kentucky. And they got Georgia, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi State. They got a gauntlet coming up. But we'll see how long they can remain in the race for the East. Probably not long. Memphis and Missouri, the Tiger Bowl. Missouri wins 34-27. South Carolina beats Mississippi State 37-30. Is that all we got to talk about?
That's all I got, man. Unless you want to throw me your top 10. What do we save that for Wednesday?
Oh, let's do that for Wednesday.
Save it for Wednesday.
We might have a lot of stuff coming at you on Wednesday. Not only just a recap, but we're into the season where we can talk about where players stand, where teams are standing. So, yeah.
Shoot, we might have to go to 3 eps a week.
Maybe, if we can figure that out. I actually just dropped one of my classes on Thursday, so maybe we can do that. Oh, that was awful. That was a bad class.
It happens.
That's a bad class. All right. With that being said, we'll be back here on Wednesday. Let's go wide here. Make sure you're subscribing, you're liking the show on Spotify. Yeah, we appreciate you for listening. If you are listening, we don't care how many people are listening or not listening. We're still going to pump out content for you guys, and we're just glad to cover this great sport that we love. Jhett, if you want to plug yourself, go do that now.
You already know where to find me.
All right, I wasn't looking at him when he gave me that look, knowing that he was done talking. Shout out the Hoosier Network. And also, shout out IU Women's Soccer, ranked 17 in the polls. Looking really good, 8-0-2 off of a dreadful season last year. EVB has got the gals looking sharp.
Love it.
They go to Columbus on Thursday. Make sure to follow the Hoosier Network everywhere you can, at Hoosier Network on Twitter, Instagram, HoosierNetwork.com. With that being said, we love college football. We love the Hoosier Network. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace.